Kevin.
And welcome to The Hero Within. Yes. So last time, part 1, we discussed about why you're in the position of being in a job that you really hate. And now we're going to talk a little bit about, what you can do about it, how to start planning for your escape, all that good stuff here in a second.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Numero uno. You do have a choice. But any life change is going to be a challenge that will sorely test you.
Absolutely.
So get involved with your future career now, if possible. Not later, right now.
Absolutely. Now is the only time to do it.
Exactly. So for example, you want to be a singer, right? Well, start singing at churches. Ooh, that was good. So start singing at churches, clubs, go to meetup groups that have musicianship meetup groups. Go be a part of that, start doing it.
Bands are always looking for singers too.
That's right. Go ahead and hit that high note. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Number 2, if you're a writer, start writing now. Go to writers' critique groups. So back a few years ago, I discovered there was a thing called writer critique groups. And I know writers are their own little island and they don't like to share their stuff because they're afraid that people are going to steal their idea. Okay, get rid of that nonsense. First of all, every idea that could ever be made has been done with all the formulas possible. The difference is how you write it, and that's what makes that story unique. So also at the same time, people are scared of people critiquing their writing. That's only going to make you better. You have better writers there, you have editors there, you have just readers there that just love to read other people's work and give advice. And the thing here is you need an audience because you're writing for an audience. So the more that they tell you that they like it, the more confidence you had. I mean, the greatest confidence I ever had from somebody in the compliment was someone who told me, I don't even like fantasy writing, but I really like this chapter you wrote. And that was the greatest compliment to me, because if I can make someone that doesn't even like fantasy like my work, that means I'm going in the right direction. So get into critique groups. Don't be afraid, they don't bite, they're all there to help you and encourage you. And at the same time, you can also volunteer for online sites to write for them. You can volunteer for short films or even YouTube channels.
Like this one.
Exactly. So that's the thing, and the more you write and the more you get critiqued, the better you become. Don't be afraid to get out there.
Number 3, if you're an actor, or a voice actor like myself, start going to plays or going to workshops in the area. Start to get yourself out there and practice, because acting is like a muscle. You got to keep it going and stimulate, or else it's gonna atrophy, and you don't want that.
Exactly. Taking classes and keeping sharp has always been great for me, and I love taking acting classes. They're so much fun. You get to see people, you get to stretch yourself, because they're always going to give you an assignment that's a little bit harder and a little more difficult for some of your weaknesses, which is phenomenal.
Go out there and get it.
Don't be afraid. Number 4, start looking for internships, ask to shadow people, ask to volunteer, because these are really important tools to connect your knowledge training to experience training. And there always is a huge difference between real life and what you read in the books. I had a friend that wanted to be a neurosurgeon, and what she specifically did is she asked a certain neurosurgeon to shadow him everywhere, so that way she could see what the day-to-day life of a neurosurgeon is, and also see if she can even handle it. And she realized that she loved it, and she wanted to go for it, and she wanted to go to medical school. So shadowing people is great, and you'd be surprised who lets people shadow them. What I read from a book was the CEO of, I believe it was either Zappos, or it was some CEO, essentially. And somebody who had walked around with him said, why don't you let people shadow you? And he says, I would love to, just nobody's ever asked. Think about that. Nobody ever asked because they were afraid to ask. Because the answer could just be no. Or it could be yes, but you don't know until you ask. If you want to learn a lot of things, get mentored, and find something in life, and also gain experience, sometimes you just have to go out there and ask. and do the things that you need to do. Remember that even volunteer experience is considered experience, and you can put that on your resume.
Yep. Last thing about this particular subject. Do everything you can to be seen and show people that you're serious about your goals.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this can only help you in the long run. It can help for recommendations. It can help with networking and being considered for future work as well.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid of what people are going to say. You're putting yourself out there, not them. As Brene Brown likes to say, if you're not out in the ring with me, I don't want to hear it.
You have a lot of quotes.
I do have a lot of quotes.
Man, it's a fountain of quote knowledge.
I love quotes.
Clearly.
But it's true. You know, people have an easy time making fun of people who are actually doing things with their life, especially if they fail. But that's not the point. The point is they got out there and the other person didn't. So just being seen alone is like practically half the problem that people don't understand. If you never get out there, if you never put your writing out there, if you never put yourself out there with acting, if you never put yourself out there with singing or anything else, or even art, how do people know that you're good? How can people find you and praise you? How do you know when you get better?
How do you know?
You just don't if you're in a vacuum.
Exactly.
Alright, so what do you do now? Plan. Plan for your escape from your terrible job. Don't just leap out of your job and just go for it, okay? Because the first thing you have to understand is those who fail to plan to fail.
Ooh, remember that from the New Year's video, our first one?
Exactly.
See how it all connects together? Yeah.
So the thing here is that I actually had a friend who did this. He was a pretty decent actor, and he essentially was like, I'm gonna go to LA and I'm gonna start acting, and I'll switch jobs or whatever and stuff like that. So he quit his job, he went to LA, he's tried to start acting, but then realized like a year later, not only was he broke, but he had problems with finding good housing that was cheap, and he was working more than auditioning, and it was just a mess. Like he just couldn't get anywhere, and so he moved back to his home state.
Damn.
So obviously he took some time, realized he had to plan a little bit more, so he's actually coming back, which good for him, because you know what? Sometimes you have to fail once in order to realize your mistake, and that's totally okay, and I'm really glad that he didn't give up.
Yeah.
However, you must plan your getaway. Save the money you need to, especially if you know you're going to go into a job that doesn't really pay a lot. Maybe lower your expenses. Move back home if you can. Whatever the case is, there's no shame in doing that, as long as your parents are okay with supporting that. And also get feedback on your plan. Find somebody that's already in the field and get some feedback. Don't get feedback from the other people that don't understand your dream. Get feedback from someone who's in the field, who's further ahead of you, that you admire and that you like the direction that they're going. So that way they can give you real feedback. Maybe even ask them if they can be your mentor. Believe it or not, mentors are incredibly important. Everybody has them, including the big wigs and the big people up there. They have people that they can rely on that's able to give them good, solid advice about their career. Doesn't mean you have to agree with everything that they say, but sometimes when you're starting out, it's good to have someone that already knows what's around the corner. So make sure you get that mentor, make sure you get that feedback, and make sure your plan is stable enough. Doesn't have to be perfect, but stable enough to know that you'll be okay for the next few years, because you're going to be poor for the next few years. And that's just the reality of it.
I just want to say real quick, I want to give a shout out to my parents, because they will both be totally cool with me moving back. Not that I plan to, but at least the option is there. Thanks guys, love you.
Same here with my dad. He says I always have a home if I have to move back.
Oh.
So, it's all good.
Keep this in mind too. When the day comes for you to act, don't listen to your brain telling you just how stupid and crazy the idea is. And like, for example, as a voice actor, I've taken some improv classes, and that was me getting out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I don't do improv all day, every day. But it allows me to, push the envelope creatively and learn some new techniques and whatnot. So don't listen to your brain. Your brain sometimes lies to you. So
your brain is trying to protect you. So when it says, I can't do this, or you probably shouldn't do this, do it anyway.
Fuck it.
Yeah, because if you can move before your brain can tell you no, you've already won. That's what I do a lot of times. I used to do that. I actually did that. That's how I got into the military. I made sure to sign up before I could say no. Because I knew it was best for me, but I knew I was scared. And every single time that I've done this, it's actually worked out for the best for me, strangely. When I got out of the military, I just did it. I just hit the button. It's working out so far. Each time that I push myself to do something, it's worked out just because I just did it. Because you don't know what's on the other side. Really.
I mean, as much as boot camp sucked for me, you know, it ended, all things come to an end, and it ended up paying off my Air Force career, so. Yeah, stop being scared.
Exactly, just do it.
Yeah, what I tell you, do it.
All right, last but not least, prepare to be miserably uncomfortable.
Damn.
It's okay. Everybody feels uncomfortable when they're doing something that is just out of their realm, that they don't know what's gonna happen next, when they are just the unknown. That is okay. Think of all the possible seismic failures, problems in your industry, whatever the case is. You want to know the good and the bad, not just all the good. Because if you know the bad, you can prepare for those instances. You can prepare more, essentially. Like, if you're going for acting, you know you're going to be in a dead-end job, or you may not have a job for a while. You may want to save up some of that money or lower your expenses tremendously so that way you can live on an extremely low income. If you know that in your industry people screw people in certain instances, in certain parts of the industry, you may want to avoid it. Learn as much as you can and find ways to figure out how to avoid them as much as you can. So once you learn all those things, now you gotta ask yourself, can you handle it? Are you going to be okay with it? Because there's no industry that doesn't have a downside. I tell you that.
Oh yeah.
All of them have their bad side. It's what you can tolerate that is important.
For sure.
If you can tolerate it, go for it. And so after you have anticipated as much as you can, as much research as you've done, which is where the mentor comes in too, now the only thing you have to anticipate is things that are just unexpected. And until that happens, you just don't have to worry about it. Because, you know, a plane can fall on you tomorrow, but nobody worries about that. You know, I'm not worried about it until it happens. So think about it that way. Don't do any doomsday feeling of, well, this can happen, that can happen, my life can be ruined. It's like, okay, so your life is ruined and you can't do that career anymore. What happens? You just go back to your old career. That's it. Or you find another way in. Or you go some other avenue, or you do some other thing. I mean, there's always a life after failure.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. As long as you're alive and breathing and well, there's always life after failure.
Indeed.
So prepare to be uncomfortable, prepare to be challenged, but go for it anyways.
Embrace that uncomfortability.
Exactly.
Alright, heroes, if you still feel overwhelmed by the sound of all of this information, it's okay. Relax. Woosah. You know what I'm saying? Take that deep breath. You don't have to be ready today or tomorrow. Just, you know, start slow at first and go from there.
Absolutely. If you want your dreams to happen, start off with gaining knowledge. As we used to always say, gain knowledge, take action, and then you can be unstoppable.
Hey.
So, I mean, those go hand in hand. The more you know about your subject and the more you train, whatever you need to do, the better you become. And it's going to be a long journey, especially if you're just starting out. Don't be frustrated, just keep going and keep learning. Eventually you'll get better and you'll be ready eventually.
And then you will truly be your hero within.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Alright everyone, that's all we have for today for part 2. Thank you so much for coming to see us every single week.
Thank you.
And sharing knowledge and our dreams and everything. So don't forget also that we have Hero Bites that come in every other Friday and just, you know, really good quick tips for your everyday knowledge. Also, don't forget to subscribe or share this video for someone who can actually benefit from this. If you have someone in mind, share with your friends, share with your family, and, you know, continue to be awesome.
Share with everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you love and enjoy our products,
be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Ooh, yeah. Woo, boy! What am I doing on YouTube? I need to be a singer. Damn. My boy can sing. Anyway.
And as always, continue to gain knowledge.
Take action.
And be unstoppable.
Woo! Let's go.